Hello and welcome to the Real Talk Podcast with Kelly and Avery. We're your hosts, Kelly Berger and Avery Roberts. We are two rare ladies living with congenital muscular dystrophy, CMD.
The show where we amplify voices, break down barriers, and celebrate the power of disability identity. Whether you're living with a disability, supporting someone who is, or just here to learn, you're in the right place.
Where wit, wisdom, and reels are all part of the party. So sit down with us. We're tearing down stereotypes, one reel at a time.
It's a front row seat to bold conversations and the thriving disabled lifestyle, and we're ready to get gloriously uncomfortable.
Let's get loud, proud, and empowered. Real power, real stories.
Hi, Kelly. Welcome to the chaos.
Hello. Oh my gosh, we're doing our episode 1.
I know. It's like, is this thing on? Like, what are we doing?
No, we have these fancy mics. Oh my gosh, we're gonna be doing some ASMR stuff. Like, hello, This is so cool.
It's the real deal. We're trying.
It's happening. It's all happening.
Yeah. Well, so excited to be diving into who we are, questions we often get asked, and why we're really starting this podcast, right, Kelly?
That's right. We're doing it.
Yeah. So should we start off easy and just give like a quick intro about ourselves?
Yeah, let's do it.
Kelly, you want to start us off?
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm Kelly, the other half of Real Talk Podcast here. I am from the Midwest emo state of Ohio. I am a female wheelchair user. I live with a condition called congenital muscular dystrophy, CMD. Maybe we'll tell you about that too. We both live with the same rare neuromuscular disease. So that's one kind of cool element we're tapping into on this podcast. And we're excited to share more about that with you. I have so many hobbies. I love to travel. I love to go to concerts. Big music fan. Yeah, everything. We're big foodies. We love to try new things and explore new places. I could talk endlessly about all of my things, but I will toss it back to Avery.
Hi, same here, Kelly. I am Avery Roberts, obviously. I also live with an ultra rare form of congenital muscular dystrophy, or CMD, like Kelly tapped into. We both live with collagen 6 CMD, that's our subtype. And CMD is a rare genetic disorder of the muscles that causes the muscles to break down faster than they can repair or grow. So the main characteristic or symptom of CMD is muscle weakness. Another one is respiratory insufficiency. That's a pretty common one that we all experience. But the muscle weakness leaves Kelly and I and primarily our affected individuals as mobility device users. So Kelly and I are power chair users. And yeah, I think like although Kelly and we live with the same subtype, we're so different at the same time, which I think will make the podcast really interesting and really fun. But it just goes to show that no two people are alike who live with the same condition, but especially CMD. And yeah, Kelly and I do a lot of advocacy on Capitol Hill, which we'll be diving into. Maybe not in this episode, but maybe in another episode. We meet with our legislators to ensure that that public policy meets the needs of our rare disease community. And like Kelly said, she's a huge concert goer. I'm really passionate about authentic disability representation in our entertainment industry and media. As I'm a professional dancer in NYC. I don't know if I mentioned it. I live in New York. So Kelly and I are a little bit spread out. So for those of you who have a long distance friendship, we got you. We hear you. And we make it work. But I feel like this podcast will really bring that together and yeah, but I'm just truly excited to be here with all of you today, our listeners, to be recording our first episode. Yes, and
Hype you up, hype it up. I know,
yeah,
I want to use my air horn on my
yeah,
phone. I love the little air horn. It's just so powerful. So yeah, I will refrain from doing that at every moment. But
I
yeah, we
know,
should definitely air horn it up for sure right
for
now
sure.
for episode 1. So
Yeah, but Kelly, like, who thought we'd ever say that we're recording our first podcast
we're here.
episode?
It's
But
a dream we've had on our minds for a while. Or like, are we doing this? And we just decided to, um, get on the podcast train
yeah,
and drive
dive
and go
in.
forward with it. And yes, we're here. So hopefully you
You
enjoy
stay.
what we have in store
Yes.
and you'll stick around and support us. We really
Yes.
appreciate that. And we're excited to just elevate and give the voice and platform to the disabled community, shed light on topics that may be overlooked or ignored. And we're just really excited to showcase the amazing people that are out there and maybe learn a thing or two about,
Yeah.
someone who's different and
True.
think differently, get you thinking in ways you maybe not have thought before. And maybe also be, a resource, find something new, find a new way of learning and thinking. And yeah, we're excited to show you all those things.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Kelly, and I'm just ready to dive into some real
Get
conversation.
ready for those puns, baby. They're coming.
Yes.
We love the puns. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Kelly
So
and I
sit
and our
down
puns.
and listen, right?
Yes, I
Yeah.
love it. But obviously, I don't need to tell you this, Kelly, but there's nothing quite like the experience of rolling through life using a wheelchair while facing really society and the world's misconceptions and truly trying to navigate a world that was clearly not built for us. That's what Kelly and I always say. Um, right, Kelly? Like, you want to talk on that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. I know we've been together not as often as we'd like to, but I know when there's one wheelchair, it's, some stairs in here and there, but when there's two and we're out doing our thing, it's definitely
The stairs
quite an
movement.
attraction, right?
Yes.
Where the entertainment, right? Oh my gosh, there's two of them. Who
Yes.
put those out, right? Um,
Yes.
yeah, no, it's just one of those things that's kind of a societal thing that I think, with more education and more awareness and more less segregation of disabled people from society, and we integrate that more into being normal and being an everyday occurrence that you see someone who is different out and about living their lives. I think that's kind of where it all is going to hopefully transition to a brighter future where all of us are, equal and not differentiated between. So that's what I hope, and that's what we hope. Maybe this podcast will help change some minds and how you see us and how you see disabled people as a whole.
Yeah.
So
I mean, let's be honest. How many times have you heard someone say something completely out of touch with reality, um, and outlandish about what it is like to live with CMD? Or Kelly and I always say, like, we've had people pray over us. Like, just there's so many assumptions and misconceptions, but it always goes back to the education piece, even if we don't realize it, like just going out and doing the usual things like running an errand or stuff we do in our daily lives. Like, that in and of itself is a form of advocacy and a form of education, and just it's all the teaching moments that it really comes down to. But I think a lot of people think that being a wheelchair user means that you're always dependent on someone. And don't even get me started on the idea that people living with disabilities are always inspirational. Um, and I mean, sure, we're very accomplished, not to pat ourselves on the back. But I don't love when people tell me I'm inspirational just for existing.
Yeah, I feel like we could do a whole episode on just
Yes.
the weird stuff that people have said to us. And um, yeah, for
Constant.
sure. I know. And one thing that comes to mind too is just like, um, assumptions about your abilities. Like, like, can I talk? Can I hear? Can I this or that? And obviously, everybody's disabilities and abilities are different, but those assumptions can also be degrading and hurtful to those. As I know, I'm very proud that I have, my mind and the ability to speak and hear and all those things. It's very privileged. I know it's just like hard to be in society and maybe be like, oh, like not spoken to, like spoken for, um,
Yep.
kind of those things, or spoken to loudly, like I can't hear or understand, or just kind of dumbed down language that. And it's like, oh no, I actually like have a degree and I'm very well educated and I can understand you and all those things. So, yeah, I hope that we can kind of help that shift. So that maybe that's not a thing. I mean, it's a lot of educating to do, but um, we're here and we're trying, so we're gonna roll with that.
Yeah. And I feel like a huge thing about this podcast that we want to try and raise awareness through it in a way, um, is female empowerment and the power of a disabled sisterhood. And I think Kelly and I being best friends now for I feel like around like 5 years, Kelly, like
Yeah, half
we've
half a
been through it
decade,
all.
half a
Yes,
decade almost. Look
that's
at that.
crazy.
Wild to think of.
Um,
Yes.
yeah, I think we've truly found that the real magic stems from disabled sisterhood. And spoiler alert, we're gonna have a podcast a little bit on an episode on this a little bit more coming soon. But there's something incredibly powerful about the relationships we build with other disabled women. And so, Kelly, I feel like since this is uh, a huge what am I trying to say? Like a huge something that we're trying to like uplift.
Mission? Yeah,
Mission,
uplift. Yeah,
mission.
mission. Okay. I was
Um
like going for like we're playing a couple there, like we're trying to finish the word game. Like,
finish
what's the
more
word?
sentences. Um but we're trying to uplift like female empowerment through this podcast. And I know that a disabled sisterhood and the power of it is something that we've both experienced firsthand. So I was just wondering, like, what does disabled sisterhood mean to you?
Yeah, I think first of all, just showing up and being there, no matter what. I think being disabled and then also being a female who's disabled is more rare in that element that we are maybe not as looked down upon. So I think that for me, it's just more of understanding, just having that unspoken, I don't want to say language, but just knowing the other person, like what they're going through and the daily struggles and everything, like just knowing that, oh, okay, like I'm really tired today. That doesn't mean like I'm ignoring you. It just means that, hey, my disability is like disability right now and I can't do it. And just knowing, having that, just that understanding, underlying understanding of like, I get you, I see you, I know what you're going through. And yeah, it really is just powerful just being there too for one another. I think that is just so strong and just really the support system. Like I could not do it without being, uplifted by fellow disabled women who are there and like your girl gang that just hypes you up when you need that extra spark or maybe you're not feeling it or all the things that we have daily to deal with and to do, and all the doctor's appointments and all the things that just drag you down and get overwhelming because living with a disability is like a full-time job that you don't sign up for, but you have to just do it and
Yeah,
get through it. And yeah,
preach.
so like having those people there with you to get you through those harder times is is definitely key and something that I'm so grateful and thankful for sure.
Yeah, same here. It's truly everything. And I think that when we support each other, we're truly forces to be reckoned with. And whether
Unstoppable.
unstoppable, whether it's sharing resources, venting about accessibility obstacles and challenges, or, just being there to listen, to be an active listener, the bond in the disability community is so real and unmatched. And we're just so grateful to have a circle of friends who truly get it, like you were touching on, Kelly, in a way that I think no one else can. So I just want to touch on that a little bit, and I'm really excited to dive into it further about, building our community and the power and the mutual empowerment it holds in a future episode. So stay tuned for that. But Kelly, I feel like we should get into a little bit about ourselves, and I feel like this is the opportunity to, on our first episode, so that our listeners can get a little bit more info about us and kind of where we come from and what our interests and passions are. Um, yeah, I feel like this is a good time to.
Okay, for sure. So we're diving in further. A
Yes,
deep
let's dive
dive.
in.
Okay,
Yes.
that's good. It's scary. I feel like we're on a first date right now. We're like,
Yes.
what are your interests? Like,
Speed dating. This is speed dating.
ready, go.
Yes.
Yeah, no, so I mentioned briefly that I am super big into music. Concerts like rule my life. I travel states away. Most of my plans revolve around a concert or festival of some sort. My favorite band is Blink-182. I probably won't shut up about them. I'm sorry in advance.
Get ready,
Um,
y'all.
right? Cue the music. No. But
Yes.
yeah, I'm super obsessed. They kind of started my love. I just like got a burned CD way back in my early teens that was edited. No curse words. It was the edited version. So I had to like figure out what all the
I
curse
didn't
words
know
were.
that. That's where this all
And that
stems
just
from.
it just spiraled from there. I was so hooked. I was like, what is this? It's so different. And I just yeah, it was wild and nothing I think I'd heard before. So yeah, that kind of just spiraled my love of music and go to shows hundreds and hundreds later of shows that I've been to. And yeah, I'm really grateful that I am able to get out to shows. So one other thing I'm super passionate about is driving. I have an adoptive van and I'm able to drive with a hand controls and joystick. So I love to travel, get out and about, and I know I'm really grateful. I'm really privileged to have that ability to do that. So I definitely utilize that and get everywhere and anywhere that I can with that van. Yeah, I love going to new cities, traveling. Some of my favorite places are some are warm and some are tropical. So definitely Ohio's not that right now, but it's yeah, it's just something I love to do when I can. Um, Goodness, what else should we know about me? Avery, there's that's my things that I like don't shut up about. Am I missing
Yeah,
anything?
I feel like every single time I ask Kelly if she has any plans in the evening of, whether it's a weekday, a weekend, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if she was out till whatever hour the night before. Like, it does not matter. There's always a concert on,
You can always
there's a
rally
lineup.
for a
There,
show.
you can
Yes.
count on it. You can definitely count on it. But that's what I love about Kelly. I feel like are, you don't stop. Like, sometimes I feel
Always
like I
tired, baby.
can't.
Always tired. Yes.
Sometimes I feel like I can't even keep up with you, but I
Keep
love
it with
it.
Kelly, not the Kardashians, right?
Yes,
Yeah. I'm gonna coin that.
exactly. Um, yeah, I feel like you hit on everything. Do you want to hit a little
I
bit
feel
on like um what places you've traveled to are not the best? Because this is where it gets a little heated between the two of us.
well, I live out in okay, I think I said already like Ohio Midwest suburbs, so like we're talking there's no public transit out to where I am.
No.
Like it's I mean not that we're like in the sticks or anything, but it's definitely like suburban of the city. So I don't have any public transit options. So when I went to New York City and there's like
Cough,
Ubers and
cough.
taxis and subways and all these things, that to me is like access, even though, again, lots of problematic issues. Won't get into
It's
that, but
actually
just like
insane.
having the
Yeah.
ability to get somewhere, like that's why I had to focus so hard on driving for me, was because I wouldn't be able to go anywhere because there isn't any public transit that would come that was accessible public transit. Sorry, accessible public transit. So that to me was like that's what makes NYC more accessible, even though obviously ramps, curb cuts, under buildings, there's lots of problems still. But in general, like to me, that was like, oh wow, I have multiple transportation options. Like
Yeah.
that's crazy. I can call an Uber and it's accessible. Like yeah, that was wild to me. But yeah, I think generally like a lot of the bigger cities. I know DC. We always talk about that being just
Top
really
notch.
rural ready
Yes.
to get around. So uh, yeah, those are some of my highlights. I would say probably the South. Well, some of the beaches are getting better with the access ramps, but yeah, we love a good boardwalk and pier that's paved, that's smooth and beautiful. You can get to the end and all of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the dream.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. You would think that New York, with its tourism attractions and popularity and its budgeting, that it would be up, it would be, at the DC level, and it's not. And I have that firsthand experience, and I can attest to that. And so I get what you're saying, Kelly. And I was literally just telling someone yesterday about when you came, when you got back to Ohio after you came to visit here a couple of years ago, and you were explaining that in Ohio, in the Midwest, really, like, we're not just talking about Ohio. They're like, oh no, like when you're on the road and you're like, in your van driving, that it's like everyone's like, "Oh no, you go ahead. No, 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 you go ahead." And
Yes, people are kind. They're not honking at you. For the
yes,
most part, there's always those same people. But yes,
the
like you can
outliers.
merge and it's like not hard. Where
Right.
like in New York, people are like honking at you. You're basically getting rear-ended already. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's insane. So I know I was like, it's such a drastic change trying to like revert back to my Ohio driving versus New York aggressive, like
Yeah.
honking at you, whatever. So
Yeah.
it's definitely a shift for sure.
Yeah. I feel like we should do a whole episode on your adaptive driving, Kelly. That would be
Oh,
really cool.
okay. That would be
Some
good.
ideas. We're getting a ton of ideas out of this episode.
Do you have
Um,
ideas? Let us know in the comments right now. Right,
yes.
please. What do you want us to talk about?
That's I feel like no, I feel like that's a good point, Kelly. Like I know we're being funny, but I think I can speak for both of us when I say that we really want this to be community driven. Like what do people want to hear? What do people want to get out of it? Like what can we provide, whether it be our lived experiences or even having guests on? Like we don't want this to just be driven by you and by us, by Kelly and I. And so please let us know. Something that you'll learn about us is that Kelly and I love connections, and so please, like, reach out anytime.
Connect with us.
Yes, we'd love to hear from you. Um, and yeah, that's something that's really huge for us. So please.
Okay, Avery Roberts, you are in the hot seat now. You
Oh
have to tell us a little more deeper about some
God,
things that you're into or interest.
God.
Right? It's hard, I know.
And yeah, it's
What to
hard.
talk
Who
about?
would have thought? Um, because I feel like there's so much to both of us in a
It's
way.
hard. It could be individual episodes on like each of our favorite things, I feel
Journeys.
like.
Yeah. Um, so what do you want me to go into? Like diagnostic journey, dance?
I feel like your dance is probably
Okay.
what you like to speak on a lot, so
Kelly
we
knows
won't
I
go
can,
on too long.
yeah,
We're hitting
count
that
me
sweet
out.
spot moment where we need to
Wrap
wrap
it
up
up.
soon, but uh go for it.
Um, So, like I had said, I'm really passionate about authentic representation, access, visibility, in the entertainment industry and media. And I think I feel like I need to back up. I was the first wheelchair user to dance on the stage of Radio City Music Hall in New York. And separately, I was among the first few wheelchair users to feature, well, to dance really in a nationally televised live production. That was separately. And I think a lot of people would think that these high profile experiences are the most accommodating, the most accessible. But really they're the opposite. And I've learned that through my own experiences. And so I've really learned the power of the lived experience. And these experiences have really sparked my drive, and fueled my passion for leading, this change in our industry. And it's not even on stage in front of a camera. It's backstage and behind the camera, in leadership, in all roles. And it even goes back to the audience's experience. There's such, I think, Kelly, you can also talk to this with concerts, like, there's such a limited amount of accessible seating compared to the standard seating in a theater, or a lot of our Broadway theaters are really old, and so they're pretty inaccessible. And I think a lot of people don't realize that the ADA only covers public spaces, and so a lot of private spaces are really inaccessible. So a lot of like backstage areas in a theater are pretty inaccessible. So I've had experiences where I have to figure out how to get to a dressing room, access a stage. Like, it's those things that I think a lot of people would take for granted. But when Kelly and I were growing up, we didn't see a lot of ourselves, um, on screens, whether it be the shows that we were watching, the movies that we were watching, the children's books we were reading, the magazines we were looking at, like, just all the things. Um, and so I'm really passionate about increasing that representation, ensuring that it's authentic, because there are tons of people, in our community who can act, can dance, can model, can sing, um, can, work a lighting board, can do all the things. But we're just not welcomed, and we're not embraced for our talent and our skills. And so I'm really passionate about that. And I think that anyone should feel that their story is worthy of being reflected in any type of narrative. Um, and so, yeah, I could go on and on, as Kelly knows. But who knows? Maybe that would be another episode. I don't like
Here
it.
we
We're just
go.
we're just
Okay.
getting ideas. But I feel like we should wrap up today's
Yes,
episode,
I
Kelly,
think,
soon.
yes, I
Um,
think we should also answer the question of, just to manifest it into this, about who would be our dream guest on our podcast. So our podcast is going to be a combination of just Avery and I, and then some guests, some friends. So you never know who's going to pop on, but who would be your dream podcast guest?
well, I feel like we have a lot of friends in the disability community.
I mean, obviously, I feel like one powerful one that unfortunately won't be able to is Judy Human. I feel like that would be an iconic moment. Obviously, she's not here with us, but a lot of what we do is from, her work, and we hope to
Yeah, make
continue
her
on that
proud.
fight for her.
Yeah,
Her
make her
shares.
proud. Um, yeah, I really think Judy Human probably would have been my dream guest. I think there are a lot of people that I would really hope that we could have on, and hopefully we will. A lot of people are busy. It would obviously depend on availability and stuff.
Manifest, you're already like, no, we can't do this. I feel like possibilities are endless. Think big picture.
Sky's the limit.
what's your big one that you have on the back of your head? Speak it into existence.
Pete Buttigieg. I think that would be really interesting.
I,
For those of you who don't know, Pete Buttigieg was the Secretary of what was he? Transportation? Secretary of Transportation in the US Department of Transportation um, during the Biden administration, and he really pushed efforts forward towards accessible air travel. And there are many instances that I will never forget for the rest of my lifetime that he truly made history. And this was literally like within the last couple of years, unfortunately. Um, but I think that would be a dream, and I'd love to just hear his perspective, his passion, and how other people, because as far as I know, he's able-bodied, and so that's really interesting. And I think that says a lot for the power of allyship um, within our wider world and our wider community. Um, and so I'd love to connect with him to hear from him um, and just hear his insight and what we all can do to push that fight forward. I feel like there's someone I'm not thinking of, but I think that would be top right now, and I'm really curious what you'll have to say.
yeah, okay, so mine, I'm gonna go a little bit of a curveball, but still tie into. So I'm gonna say I would love Haley Williams. She is the front
I almost said that.
woman of the rock band Paramore, and she's also an inclusivity icon. She supports everyone, every person, every human being. She's not afraid to speak her mind and stand up for the people, and she's so powerful and truly an icon. I would love to have her on. I met her a long time ago at a Warped Tour. Early days, she was so incredibly kind and nice, and I would love to, yeah, have her on and catch up. That'd be mine.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like we don't want to only stick to having disabled guests. Like, I'd love to hear from non disabled guests to get their perspective too. So, we'll see what's to come. Before we wrap up today's episode, our first episode, I know, I just want to like take a little moment to get real with everyone. And I feel like we've talked a lot about barriers and struggles that we face in the world, but I want to remind us and everyone listening that we're not defined by our disability. We're building a community and thriving in spaces where we're often overlooked. And it's so easy to get caught up in the challenges, the days when things don't go right, or the times when the world just doesn't get it and just doesn't include us right. And I just want anyone listening to know whether you're in a chair or not, you have a space in this world, and you have power, you have willpower, and just don't let anyone tell you otherwise. But I feel like for me, every time we have these conversations, Kelly, um, I'm reminded that we're not alone, and it's easy to feel isolated, especially when the world doesn't want to make space for us. But we're so much stronger together, and that's what we're trying to build here. And we're trying to build this community. And I hope that as we continue rolling through these episodes, you feel heard, seen, and supported, because that's exactly what we're here and trying to do. Right, Kelly?
that is our real talk moment.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, you said it perfectly. I'm not really going to add on to that because we'll just mic drop it right there. Beautifully said and done. Yes.
Thanks.
We're
I
excited
feel
to have
like,
you on this journey
yeah, I
with
feel like
us.
as we close this first episode, it's important to share that everyone has a wheel story uh,
And we're here to
that
share it with you.
yeah, that deserves to be heard. So We see you, we hear you, and we're so glad you're here with us. So thanks for rolling with us today. And let's do this, Kelly. Let's build a podcast, shall we?
We're doing that. Ah.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this inclusive space where disability radiates and every listen helps amplify disabled voices that deserve to be heard. We're so grateful you're on this journey with us.
We share real stories, honest conversations, and expert insights that challenge misconceptions. Because disability doesn't define us, it's just a different way of experiencing the world.
Your support keeps this beautifully disabled, slightly chaotic show rolling.
You are truly the real MVPs. We have power, real stories.